A phenomenal amount of detail there. Let me ask a couple of questions. First of all, do the names themselves tell us anything about where their allegiances, whether, look, the question here is, do they have a connection, and can we tell that by their names, to bin Laden or anyone else who might be of interest right now?
Well, we're attempting to do that, and intelligence officials have been trying to do that for a couple of days now when they got those names together. We do know that more than half of the names are either prominent Saudi names from the south of that country or Yemeni names. But I was told by one source there is the possibility that these names may not be the real names of the actual hijackers. I have the bin Laden manual for Al-Qaeda that's issued to followers of bin Laden, in which they talk about using cutouts, so to speak, stealing somebody's identity. It's a tactic they use all the time, so it's something we got to be really careful. There could be some names on this list that maybe there's another Mohammed Atta out there, and so we're trying to be very careful. But certainly the FBI must have a lot of confidence in this errand to release this as it is right now.
We see the president, Mike, as you were talking, walking up the steps, getting into Air Force One for his trip to New York. Assume Air Force One will be pulling away shortly. Mike, if you're still there.
Yes, I am.
We know now, or at least we have 19 names that we believe are either real names or aliases of some sort of the hijackers. Is there much you can tell us about the broader investigation that's going on in Germany, in parts of the United States as well, for people who may have either information about what went on or may have been complicit in one way in what went on?
Well, let me tell you, good intelligence sources worldwide are telling me that one of the groups they're looking at that could have been one of the major groups behind this is Egyptian Islamic Jihad. Now, that group has close ties to bin Laden. It operates under the umbrella, oftentimes, of Al-Qaeda, which is the umbrella organization run by bin Laden. Al-Qaeda itself is not a group. It's more like the corporate board, and these companies, these smaller groups which work in cells of 18 to 20 people, they are the ones that go out and do it. They're looking very close at these North African groups, some Algerian groups and that. Now, that's not to say, when I say Egyptian Islamic Jihad or an Algerian terror group like GIA, that's not to say they're operating from those countries. For example, Egyptian Islamic Jihad members have had to flee Egypt because President Mubarak has been very successful in tracking those people down, put a lot of heat on them. And so these cells from that organization have been operating in Afghanistan and also in areas of Pakistan for the last few years. So that is obviously the neighborhood of bin Laden. And that's one of the groups they're looking at.
Mike, thanks. Again, it is remarkable how much detail that investigators have been able to put together in a relatively short period of time, and we assume, as seems reasonable, at least here, that that's just what they are telling us, that very likely, they have a whole lot more detail on these 19 men and their movements and their connections and the rest, and we'll be continuing to work on that. It is also, I think, quite remarkable to a good many Americans that you could find 19 people out there, perhaps more, who have such hatred for the United States that they would not only commit this awful act that went on in New York and in Washington and kill themselves in the process. It is less difficult for people abroad to imagine that. They see this kind of hatred directed at the United States perhaps more than we do here normally. Christiane Amanpour now on why the United States has such problems in the world.